Travis Kelce never intended to stop that Tuesday evening in Kansas City. The black SUV was already pulling away from the curb near Children's Mercy Hospital when something caught his eye through the tinted window. A small figure stood alone on the sidewalk, holding a piece of cardboard above her head. "I brought you a gift, even if I don't get one back." The words were written in purple marker, the letters slightly crooked. Travis felt something twist his chest as he read them again. There was no demand, no expectation, just a simple statement of giving without expecting anything in return. "Stop the car," Travis said quietly to his driver, Elliot Rhodes. Elliot glanced in the rearview mirror. "You sure, boss? We've got that dinner reservation in 20 minutes. Travis was already reaching for the door. "Cancel it. This is more important." As the SUV stopped, Travis could see the little girl more clearly. She couldn't have been more than 8 years old, with thin blonde hair and bright blue eyes. She wore a red Chiefs jersey that hung loose on her tiny frame, and despite the cool October air, she had no jacket. Behind her, about 20 feet away, stood a woman in her 30s with the same blonde hair, watching her daughter with a mixture of pride and terror. Travis stepped out and walked slowly toward the girl. She hadn't moved, hadn't run toward him like most fans would. Instead, she stood perfectly still, as if afraid that any sudden movement might make him disappear. "Hi there," Travis said gently. "I'm Travis." The girl's face lit up with a smile that seemed to illuminate the entire street. "I know who you're number 87. You catch the ball when Patrick throws it really, really far." Travis grinned. "That's right. What's your name?" "Sadi. Sadi Monroe." She held up a small wrapped packet. "I made this for you. My mom helped me wrap it, but I did all the rest by myself." Travis looked at the gift, then back at her sign. The innocence in her gesture struck him harder than any tackle he'd ever received. "What is it?" he asked, kneeling down to her eye level. Sadie's cheeks turned pink. "It's a surprise, but I can tell you that it matches your team colors, and I worked on it every day for 2 weeks, even when I felt really sick." The word "sick" hung in the air. Travis noticed how pale her skin was, how her jersey seemed to swallow her whole. He glanced toward the hospital behind her. "Mom says I shouldn't expect you to keep it," Sadie continued, her voice dropping to a whisper. "She says famous people get lots of presents and they probably just give them away. But I wanted to make it anyway, because you make me happy when I watch you play." Travis felt his chest tighten. "Why would you think I wouldn't keep it?" Sadie shrugged. "Because I'm just a regular kid, and you're Travis Kelce. You probably forget about people like me as soon as you drive away." The honesty in her words hit Travis like a physical blow. "Sadie, what makes you think you're just a regular kid?" She looked down, then back up at him. "Because I spend most of my time in there," she said, pointing to the hospital. "And the doctors say I'm very sick, so I can't play football or run around like other kids. I just watch you on TV and pretend I'm strong like you." Travis felt tears prick at his eyes. "Can I tell you a secret, Sadie?" She nodded eagerly. "The strongest people I know aren't the ones on the football field. They're the ones who fight battles nobody can see, who get up every day even when it's hard. You're not just a regular kid, Sadie. You're extraordinary." Sadie's eyes filled with tears, but she was smiling. "Really? Really?" Travis carefully unwrapped the gift. Inside was a bracelet made of red and yellow beads, with tiny silver football charms. In the center was a rectangular charm with 87 on one side and strong on the other. "Sadie, this is beautiful," he said, meaning every word. "Did you really make this yourself?" "Mom helped me with some of the smaller beads because my hands shake sometimes, but I picked out all the colors and charms." Travis examined every detail. Each bead had been chosen with care, each charm placed with purpose. "Would you help me put it on?" Sadie's face lit up like Christmas morning. "You're really going to wear it?" "Every day, I promise." With careful, trembling fingers, Sadie fastened the bracelet around Travis's wrist. It fit perfect. "Now you'll remember that even when you're playing in front of all those people, there's someone cheering for who thinks you're the best player in the whole world." Travis looked down at the bracelet, then back at Sadie. "I'll wear this every day, especially to practice. That way, when I'm working hard, I'll remember to be as strong as you are." By now, a small crowd had gathered, but Travis barely noticed. "Can I give you a hug?" he asked. Sadie nodded and wrapped her thin arms around his neck. Travis hugged her gently, aware of how fragile she felt, but also sensing the incredible strength inside her small body. "Thank you, Sadie. This is the best gift anyone has ever given me." Travis walked over to Sadie's mother, who was now crying openly. Mrs. Monroe, I'm Travis. Your daughter is incredible. Claire Monroe took his hand. She talks about you all the time. Watching your games is one of the few things that still makes her smile these days. How long has she been sick? Travis asked quietly. Leukemia, diagnosed 8 months ago. Tomorrow we start another round of chemo. Claire's voice cracked. She insisted on coming today, said it might be her last chance for a while to feel normal. Travis felt his heart break. Is there anything I can do? Claire shook her head. You've already done more than you know. Travis knelt down beside Sadi again. I want you to know that you're going to be in my thoughts every single day. And whenever I wear this bracelet, I'm going to think about how brave you are, okay? Okay. And I want you to promise me something. Promise me you'll keep fighting. Promise me you'll be strong, just like you taught me to be today. Sadi nodded solemnly. I promise. After taking photos together, Travis made sure Sadi and her mother had his assistant's contact information. If you ever need anything, you call that number. I mean it. As Travis prepared to leave, Sadi tugged on his jersey. Travis, will you really remember me? Travis looked down at the bracelet, then back at her earnest face. Sadi, I could never forget you. You just changed my whole life. 3 days later, Travis's phone rang. It was Claire Monroe. Mr. Kelce, I'm sorry to bother you, but Sadi started her chemotherapy yesterday. She's been very sick, but she keeps asking about you. She wants to know if you're still wearing the bracelet. Travis looked down at his wrist. Every single day, just like I promised. She'll be so happy. Mr. Kelce, meeting you gave her something to hold on to. Even when she's at her sickest, she talks about how Travis Kelce thinks she's extraordinary. Mrs. Monroe, is there anything I can do? Can I visit her? The doctors have her in isolation right now, but maybe in a week or two, if she's feeling better. You call me the second she's able to have visitors. I don't care what time it is. I'll be there. Travis immediately called his assistant, Maya. I need you to help me set up a fund for pediatric cancer research. Something substantial. I want to do it anonymous, but I want the family to know it's being done in honor of Sadi Monroe. This could be great publicity for your foundation work. I'm sure about the anonymous part. This isn't about publicity. This is about keeping a promise to a kid who deserves better. Over the next week, Travis researched childhood leukemia extensively. The more he learned, the more his respect for Sadi grew. The chemotherapy protocols were brutal, the side effects severe, and the success rates, while improving, were not guaranteed. On Tuesday of the following week, Maya appeared at practice with a serious expression. Claire Monroe called. Sadi's taken a turn for the worse and hospitalized with complications. Claire said if you want to see her, it should probably be soon. Travis felt the world tilt. How soon? She's asking if you can come today. Travis looked back at the field where his teammates were preparing for Sunday's crucial game against Denver. Missing practice meant missing preparation time that could affect the entire team. But when he looked down at the bracelet, the choice was clear. Tell coach I have a family emergency. An hour later, Travis was walking through the sterile corridors of Children's Mercy Hospital. Claire was waiting in the family lounge, looking like she hadn't slept in days. Thank you for coming, she whispered. I wasn't sure you'd be able to make it. I told you I'd be here. How is she? The chemo hit her harder this time. Her white blood cell count dropped dangerously low, and she developed an infection. Her body is just so tired of fighting. They walked to Sadi's room. Claire paused outside the door. She looks different than when you met her, but she's still our Sadi inside. Nothing could have prepared Travis for what he saw. Sadi looked impossibly small against the white sheets, her frame now skeletal. Her blonde hair was gone, her scalp covered with a soft pink hat. Her skin was pale and translucent, marked with bruises from medical procedure. But her eyes, when they opened, were still bright blue, full of recognition. Travis, she whispered. Hey there, warrior, he said softly, pulling up a chair. I came to see how you're doing. A weak smile crossed her face. You came back. Of course I came back. Travis held up his wrist, showing the bracelet. I've been wearing this every single day, just like I said I would, even to practice, especially to practice. It helps me remember to be strong like you. I'm sorry I look so different, she said, her hand moving to her hat. I know I'm not pretty anymore. Travis felt his throat tighten. Sadi, look at me. You are the most beautiful person I've ever met. Not because of how you look, but because of who you are. You're brave and kind and strong, and those are the things that make someone truly beautiful. I don't feel very brave. I'm scared all the time. You know what courage is, Sadi? It's being scared and doing what you have to do anyway. And that's exactly what you're doing every single day. They sat in comfortable silence while she dozed. When Sadie woke up, her eyes were clearer. Travis, can I tell you something? Sometimes, when the medicine makes me feel really sick, I pretend I'm you. I pretend I'm running down the field, and all the people are cheering for me, and I'm strong enough to catch any ball that comes my way. It helps me get through the bad parts. Travis had to look away to compose himself. You're sad, Sadie observed with surprising maturity. I'm sad that you have to go through this, but I'm also amazed by how strong you are. You inspire me, Sadie. When I'm on that field and things get tough, I think about you fighting your fight. Travis pulled out his phone and showed her a video he'd made. Hey Sadie, this is Travis. I wanted you to know that I wore your bracelet to practice today. Every time I caught a pass, I thought about how you taught me to be strong. You're my inspiration, kiddo. Keep fighting. Sadie watched with wide eyes, then asked to see it again. You made that just for me? Just for you. And Sadie, I'm going to make you a new video every single day until you're better. That's a promise. Before he left, Sadie grabbed his hand with surprising strength. Travis, promise me something else. Anything. Promise me you'll keep playing, even if I can't watch anymore. The words hit him like a physical blow. Sadie, you're going to beat them, but promise me anyway. Promise me you'll remember that I believe in you, no matter what happens. I promise, but only if you promise me you'll keep fighting. Deal? Deal. As Travis left, Sadie called out one more time. Travis, when I get better, will you teach me how to catch a football? When you get better, Travis said firmly, I'll teach you everything I know. Walking out that day, Travis felt changed. That night, instead of studying game film, he sat at his kitchen table and wrote about meeting Sadie, about the bracelet, about what it meant to be strong. And when he was finished, he knew that this little girl had already taught him everything he needed to know about winning. Sunday's game against Denver was supposed to be routine, but Travis played like his life depended on it. Every catch was fueled by the image of Sadie in that hospital bed. The Chiefs won 31-17, and Travis had 8 catches for 127 yards, but the statistic felt meaningless. After the game, he drove straight to the hospital. Sadie was having a better day, alert and smiling when he walked in wearing his game jersey. You won, she said, her voice stronger. I watched the whole game. Well, most of it. We won, Travis corrected, showing the bracelet. This was my good luck charm. They talked about the game, with Sadie showing impressive understanding of football strategy. It was easy to forget, talking to her, that she was fighting for her life. Travis, Sadie said suddenly, are you scared when you play? Travis considered carefully. Sometimes, but do you know what I do when I'm scared? I think about people who are braver than me. People like you. I don't feel brave. I feel scared all the time. Travis took her hand. Being scared doesn't make you weak, but fighting anyway makes you heroic. Sometimes, I wonder if it's worth it. The fighting, it hurts so much. Can I tell you something about football, Sadie? Sometimes I want to quit, but I don't because there are people counting on me. The hardest fights are usually the most important ones. You think I'm changing something? I know you are. You've already changed me, and your mom, and every person who's met you. But what if I don't get better? Travis squeezed her hand. Sadie, I can't promise everything will turn out exactly the way we want, but I can promise that your fighting matters. Every day you choose to keep going, you're proving that love is stronger than fear. They sat watching the sunset through the window. Travis, if something happens to me, will you remember what I taught you about being strong? The question hit him hard. Sadie, I need to know that if I can't keep fighting, you'll keep fighting for both of us. Travis looked at this 8-year-old having conversations about mortality that most adults couldn't handle. I promise, but Sadie, I also promise, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that day never comes. What do you mean? Travis had been waiting for the right moment. Remember how you made me that bracelet without expecting anything back? Well, I started a fund for cancer research, specifically for your kind of cancer. It's going to help doctors find better treatment. Sadie's eyes went wide. You did that for me? Because of you. Because you showed me that some fights are worth everything we have to give. Will it help other kids, even if it doesn't help me? The question broke his heart. Yes, it will help other kids for many years. Good. That's really good. Just then, Claire returned, her face pale and hands shaking. Sadie, honey, Dr. Keene wants to see us. Dr. Vernon Keene was Sadie's oncologist. Unscheduled visits were rarely good news. "Can Travis come?" Sadie asked. In Dr. Keene's office, the tension was palpable. "Sadie," Dr. Keene said, addressing her directly, "we got your latest blood work result. The chemotherapy isn't working as well as we'd hoped. Your cancer cells are showing resistance to the current treatment." Travis felt his stomach drop, but Sadie simply nodded. "What does that mean?" she asked. "We need to try a different approach. There's a new treatment called CAR T-cell therapy. It's more intensive, but it's shown promising results for cases like yours." "More intensive how?" Claire asked. "Sadie would be in the hospital for several weeks, possibly months. We'd harvest some of her immune cells, modify them to fight the cancer better, and reintroduce them to her system." "What are the chances?" Sadie asked, with characteristic directness. Dr. Keene respected her maturity. "With traditional treatments, maybe 30% chance of long-term remission. With this new protocol, that number goes up to about 65%. So, there's a 35% chance it won't work," Sadie stated. "That's one way to look at it, but there's also a 65% chance you'll be able to go home and have a normal childhood." Sadie looked at her mother, then at Travis, then back at the doctor. "When would we start? If you decide to proceed, we could begin next week." Sadie was quiet, weighing options no child should consider. "If I don't do it, what happens?" Dr. Keene's expression grew somber. "We would continue with palliative care, focus on keeping you comfortable." "How long do I have to decide?" "A few days, maybe a week." In the family lounge afterward, they sat in heavy silence. "Mom," Sadie said finally, "I want to do it." Claire looked up, tears streaming. "Honey, are you sure? I know it's going to be hard, but Travis taught me that the hardest fights are usually the most important ones, and I promised him I wouldn't give up." Travis felt his throat tighten. "Sadie, you don't have to make this decision because of something I said. It is what I want," she said firmly. "I want to fight. I want to see you win the Super Bowl. I want to graduate and maybe go to college. This treatment is my best chance." Claire hugged her daughter. "Okay, baby, we'll do it." As they prepared to leave, Sadie asked Travis to walk with her. In her wheelchair by the elevator, she said, "I need to ask you for something. Anything. If this treatment doesn't work, I want you to keep the bracelet, and I want you to remember that knowing you made me braver than I ever thought I could be." Travis knelt beside her wheelchair. "Sadie Monroe, you listen to me. You're going to beat them. You're going to grow up and do amazing things. But if I don't, then I promise I'll spend the rest of my life making sure other kids like you have a better chance. But that's not going to happen, because you're going to win this fight." Sadie smiled. "I believe you." The next morning, Travis called Maya. "I need you to research the best CAR T-cell therapy programs in the country. Money is no object." When Claire called to say Sadie would be admitted Thursday, Travis was ready. "I've arranged for Dr. Sarah Chen from St. Jude to consult on Sadie's case. She's one of the leading experts. Any experimental treatments or resources she might need will be covered." "Travis, we can't accept." "Yes, you can. This is my gift to her, just like that bracelet was her gift to me." Wednesday evening, the night before admission, Travis visited Sadie at home. She showed him a drawing of a football field with stick figures, including number 87 scoring a touchdown. "I drew this for you. It's you scoring the winning touchdown in the Super Bowl." Travis studied the childish artwork filled with love and hope. "Sadie, this is incredible, but I want you to keep it." "Why?" "Because when you get better, I want you to give it to me after I actually score that winning touchdown. Deal?" Sadie's face lit up. "Deal. But you better make sure it happens." "Oh, I will. I've got the best good luck charm in the world." As he prepared to leave, Sadie called out, "Travis, thank you for stopping your car that day." Travis looked at this remarkable girl who had changed his understanding of strength. "Thank you for holding up that sign. You saved me too, Sadie." Thursday morning arrived gray and cold as Travis drove to Children's Mercy Hospital. Sadie was being admitted to begin CAR T-cell therapy preparation, and he had promised to be there. In the hospital lobby, he found Claire and Sadie waiting. Sadie looked impossibly small in her wheelchair, clutching a stuffed elephant, but her expression was resolute. "Hey, warrior," Travis said, kneeling beside her. "Ready for this?" "As ready as I can be," Sadie replied steadily. "Dr. Chen called yesterday. She sounds really smart." Travis smiled, knowing his behind-the-scenes efforts to bring Dr. Chen onto the case had been worth it. She is, and she's going to take great care of you. Dr. Chen arrived that afternoon, a petite woman with quiet confidence. She spent an hour with Sadi, explaining the process in terms an 8-year-old could understand. We'll start by harvesting your T-cells, then modify them in the lab while you undergo chemotherapy to prepare your body, Dr. Chen explained. The next few weeks will be challenging, but our staff is specially trained to work with children. Will it hurt? Sadi asked. Some parts will be uncomfortable, but we have good ways to manage pain. And Sadi? You won't be going through this alone. Sadi asked intelligent questions about timeline and side effects, her maturity continuing to amaze everyone. Dr. Chen, what happens if it doesn't work? Dr. Chen met her gaze directly. If this doesn't work, we'll explore other options. But Sadi, I've reviewed your case extensively. You're an excellent candidate, and despite how sick you've been, your body has shown remarkable resilience. Travis helped Sadi get settled in her private room with a city view. Claire had brought photos, stuffed animals, and art supplies, personalized the space. It's not so bad, Sadi said, looking around. Kind of like a hotel, except with better snacks. Friday morning, the T-cell harvest began. Travis sat with Sadi during the procedure, distracting her with football stories about seagulls hit by errant kicks and elaborate team pranks. Do you think your teammates know about me? Sadi asked, as the machine worked. Some do. Patrick asked about the bracelet, and when I told him about you, he said he wanted to send you something. Really? Patrick Mahomes? He's pretty impressed by how tough you are. Sadi's eyes went wide. Can you tell him I said hi? I'll tell him exactly that. The procedure went smoothly, and Sadi's T-cells went to the lab for modification. Over the next 2 weeks, she would undergo chemotherapy to prepare for the modified cell. The chemotherapy began Monday and was brutal. Travis visited daily, sometimes staying hours, sometimes just checking when she was too sick for visitors. He brought flowers and small gifts, but mostly just provided steady presence. I don't know if I can do this, Sadi whispered. Wednesday afternoon, after violent nausea left her exhausted, Travis took her hand carefully. Yes, you can. I've watched you be brave every single day since I met you. But it hurts so much. I know it hurts. But do you remember what you told me about pretending to be me when things got hard? Well, I pretend to be you now. I pretend to be as brave as you are. You really think about me when you play? Every single snap. I think about how you never give up. How you keep fighting, even when you're scared. Sadi drew strength from somewhere deep inside. Will you stay with me tonight? Mom's exhausted. Of course. Claire, go home and get real sleep. I'll stay. That night, Travis slept in the chair beside Sadi's bed, waking whenever she stirred. Around 3 a.m., she woke crying from a nightmare. I dreamed that I didn't get better, and you forgot about. Travis moved to her bedside. Sadi, look at me. I could never forget you. You've changed my entire life. Promise? I promise. But you're going to get better. This treatment is going to work. How do you know? Because fighters like you don't lose the battles that matter most. The following week brought more difficult days, but also support from Travis's teammates. Patrick Mahomes recorded a video. The offensive line signed a football, and Coach Reed sent flowers calling her the toughest player he'd never coached. Friday of the second week, Dr. Chen brought encouraging news. The modified T-cells are ready. They look excellent, and we're ready for infusion on Monday. Despite being weak from chemotherapy, Sadi managed a genuine smile. So, the real fighting starts Monday? The real fighting starts Monday. Are you ready? Sadi looked at Travis, then her mother, then back at Dr. Chen. I've been ready since the day I met Travis. He taught me that the hardest fights are the most important ones. Dr. Chen smiled. Then let's win it. Sunday evening, as they watched sunset through the hospital window, Sadi surprised Travis with a question. Do you think people can be guardian angels while they're still alive? What do you mean? I mean, do you think sometimes people come into our lives exactly when we need them to help us be braver? Travis looked at his wise 8-year-old. I think that's exactly what guardian angels do. Why? Sadi smiled. Because I think that's what you are for me. And maybe I'm that for you too. Travis felt tears finally spill over. Sadi, you are definitely my guardian angel. Good. Then we're even. Monday morning arrived with unusual brightness. Travis had been there since dawn, unable to sleep. The modified T-cells were in a small bag that looked ordinary for something representing Sadi's best hope. "Are you ready for this, champion?" Travis asked as the medical team prepared. Sadie nodded, nervous but determined. The infusion took 30 minutes, but the real test would come in the following hours and days. The first 24 hours passed without major incident, which Dr. Chen called positive. Tuesday afternoon, something remarkable happened. Sadie sat up without assistance and asked for solid food. By Wednesday, she was noticeably stronger, her color better. "Travis, I think it's working. I feel different, like my body is fighting back instead of just trying to survive." Thursday brought new blood tests. Friday morning couldn't come fast enough for results. When Dr. Chen arrived, her expression was carefully neutral. "Sadie, your blood work shows something remarkable. Cancer cells in your blood have dropped by over 80% since Monday." The room fell silent. Travis felt his heart stop, then race. "What does that mean, Sadie?" "It means the treatment is working exactly as we hoped. Your modified T cells are doing their job. This is the kind of response we hope to see." Claire started crying with relief. Sadie processed the news with characteristic thoughtfulness. "Does this mean I'm going to get better?" "It means you're already getting better. We'll continue monitoring, but, Sadie, this is exactly what we wanted to see. So I'm going to be able to go home? If progress continues, you should be home within 2 weeks. Then, after recovery, you'll be able to do all the things 8-year-old girls should do." Sadie looked at Travis. "Like I won the Super Bowl. You did something even better. You won the fight of your life." Over the next 2 weeks, Sadie's improvement was nothing short of miraculous. Travis visited every other day, watching as her energy returned bit by bit. On day 3, post-infusion, she sat up and asked for pancakes. On day 5, she walked to the window without assistance. By day 7, she was laughing at Travis's stories about his teammates' locker room antics. "You know what's funny?" Sadie said during one of his visits, her voice stronger each day. "I can actually feel my body fighting back now. Like there's this army inside me that finally got the right weapons." Travis smiled, amazed by how she could explain complex medical processes with such simple clarity. "That's exactly what's happening, warrior. Your T cells are like the best defense in the NFL." "Better than your defense?" she teased, and Travis was thrilled to hear that spark of humor returning. Her energy returned gradually, but consistently. Claire began sleeping through the nights for the first time in months, and the nurses commented on how Sadie's spirit seemed to lift the entire ward. Other young patients started asking to meet the girl who knows Travis Kelce, and Sadie began visiting their room, sharing her story and offering encouragement. "She's becoming a little ambassador of hope," one nurse told Travis. "These kids see her getting better, and it gives them strength for their own fight." The soft blonde hair began growing back in delicate wisps that caught the hospital room light. Sadie would run her fingers over her scalp constantly, marveling at each new strand. "Mom says it might come back curly," she told Travis excitedly. "I've always wanted curly hair." The day she was discharged, Travis had coordinated something special. He'd arranged for several teammates to be there, creating a small celebration in the hospital lobby. Patrick Mahomes arrived first, carrying a signed jersey and a football. "Sadie Monroe," Patrick said with a huge grin, "I've heard so much about you. Travis talks about you constantly." Sadie's eyes went wide as she took in the sight of the quarterback she'd watched on television for years. "You're even taller in person," she said, making everyone laugh. "Travis tells me you're the toughest player he knows," Patrick continued, kneeling down to her level. "I'm not a player," Sadie giggled, but her chest puffed out with pride. "You are to us. You're on Team Sadie, and that's the most important team of all. We all wear your number now, number 1, because you're our champion." The offensive line arrived next. These massive men who looked completely out of place in the hospital setting, but who spoke to Sadie with incredible gentleness. They'd brought a team photo signed by everyone, with a special message: "To Sadie, our inspiration, and the strongest chief we know." As they prepared to leave the hospital, Dr. Chen pulled Travis aside for a private conversation. "The research fund you established is already making a difference," she said quietly. "We've been able to expand our CAR-T program to treat 6 more children this year. The equipment you helped fund, the additional staffing, it's all because of what you did for Sadie." Travis felt a deep satisfaction, knowing that Sadie's fight was already helping others. "Dr. Chen, if Sadie hadn't gotten better—" "But she did," Dr. Chen interrupted gently. "And Travis, I want you to know that having someone believe in you the way you believed in her makes a tremendous difference in how patients respond to treatment. The mind-body connection in healing is real, and you gave her something to fight for, beyond just survival. The next few months flew by as Sadi continued to grow stronger. Travis made good on his promise to teach her how to catch a football, spending afternoons in her backyard working on basic techniques. She was surprisingly coordinated for someone who'd spent most of the past year in hospital bed. "Keep your eye on the ball. Don't look away until it's in your hands," Travis coached, as he threw gentle spirals her way. "Like this?" Sadi, making a perfect catch, and immediately breaking into a victory dance that made Travis burst out laughing. "Exactly like that, superstar." The Chiefs were having an exceptional season, and Travis found himself playing with a new intensity. Every game, every practice, every catch was infused with the lessons Sadi had taught him about perseverance and strength. His teammates noticed the change in his play style. He was more focused, more determined, and somehow more joyful on the field. "Whatever that little girl did to you," Coach Reed told him after a particularly dominant performance, "bottle it up and sell it to the rest of the team." As the playoffs approached, Travis made arrangements for Sadi and Claire to attend the AFC Championship Game. He'd secured them a luxury box, where Sadi would be comfortable and have easy access to medical attention if needed. Though she was now so healthy that such precautions seemed almost unnecessary. The night before the championship game, Travis called Sadi to check in. "Are you nervous about tomorrow?" she asked him. "A little," Travis admitted. "It's a big game." "Well, I'll be watching and cheering for you. And remember what I taught you about being strong when scared." "What's that?" "You do it anyway. You catch that ball anyway. You run anyway. You win anyway. That's what courage is." Travis smiled, still amazed by the wisdom that came from this 9-year-old. "You're right. As always, I'll see you after we win tomorrow." The AFC Championship Game was everything Travis had hoped for, and, playing against a tough Denver defense, he caught 8 passes for 127 yards and 2 touchdowns. But it was the game-winning catch with 37 seconds left that he'd remember forever. As the ball settled into his hands in the end zone, he immediately looked up to the luxury box where Sadi was jumping up and down with pure joy. After the celebration on the field with his teammate, Travis ran toward the stand, still in his uniform, still covered in sweat and grass stains. Security initially tried to stop him, but he pushed through to reach the box where Sadi was waiting. "You did it!" she exclaimed, as Travis picked her up and spun her around, both of them laughing and crying at the same time. "We did it," Travis corrected, setting her down gently. "We both won our biggest game." It was then that Sadi reached into her small purse and pulled out the drawing she'd made months earlier, the stick figure representation of Travis, scoring a touchdown in the Super Bowl. "I think it's time to give you this," she said solemnly, handing him the folded paper. Travis unfolded the childish artwork that somehow captured every dream and hope they'd shared together. "Sadi, this is incredible, but you know what this means, right?" "What?" "It means I have to win the Super Bowl now. I can't let down my good luck charm." Sadi grinned, her face glowing with health and happiness. "You better not. I'll be watching every single play." The Super Bowl preparation was unlike anything Travis had experienced before. Every interview, every practice, every team meeting was infused with a sense of purpose that went beyond football. He carried Sadi's drawing in his equipment bag and looked at it before every practice. When reporters asked about his exceptional season, Travis always mentioned a young fan who'd taught him about real strength. He never used her name publicly, respecting her family's privacy, but anyone who knew him understood that this little girl had fundamentally changed how he approached both football and life. The Super Bowl itself was a nail-biting affair that went into overtime. When Travis caught the game-winning touchdown pass with 1:47 left in the extra period, his first thought wasn't about the championship or the celebration. It was about a promise he'd made to a brave little girl. As confetti fell from the stadium ceiling and his teammates mobbed him on the field, Travis fought his way through the chaos to find the section where Sadi and Claire were sitting. Security tried to maintain order, but Travis's joy was unstoppable. "We did it, Sadi!" he shouted over the crowd noise. "We actually did it!" Sadi was crying with happiness, wearing the Chiefs jersey with "Strong" printed where her name should be. Her hair had grown back in soft curls, just as she'd hoped, and her cheeks were pink with excitement and health. "I knew you would," she called back. "I never doubted it for a second." Later, at the team celebration, Travis made sure Sadie and Claire were included in every photo, every interview, every moment of triumph. When he held up the Lombardi trophy, he made sure the camera caught the red and yellow bracelet still wrapped around his wrist. But the most meaningful moment came weeks later, when Travis presented Sadie with a custom championship ring he'd had made especially for her. It was smaller than the players' rings, but just as detailed, engraved with her name and the words that had started their entire journey. "I brought you a gift, even if I don't get one back. This is for you," Travis said, as he slipped the ring onto her finger. "Because champions support each other, and you've been my champion since the day we met." Sadie held up her hand, admiring how the ring caught the light. "Does this make me an official chief? This makes you the most important chief of all." Looking back on that Tuesday evening when he'd almost driven past a little girl with a handmade sign, Travis realized that stopping his car had been the most important decision of his life. Sadie had taught him that real victories aren't measured in statistics or trophies. They're measured in the courage to keep fighting when everything seems impossible. The bracelet never left his wrist, a daily reminder that some of life's most important plays happen when the game stops, and someone decides that one person's hope is worth more than any schedule or plan. And in a children's hospital in Kansas City, there's now a research wing named for a little girl who proved that the smallest gestures can create the biggest changes. Because in the end, we're all just people holding signs, hoping someone will stop and see that we have something worth giving. And sometimes, if we're very lucky, those gifts change everything.